Hey guys, Mama here. Today I'm going to go over everything you need to know about Live Boost, including how to set it up and how to verify that it's actually working. Now, before we get into the setup, let me clear a few things up because I've seen a lot of people asking why they'd even use Live Boost or just not fully understand what it actually does. Now we'll get into all that in a minute, but first, let's get everything configured. So first, we want to disable Windows Game Mode. The reason for this is because Windows Game Mode and Live Boost Core Director both try to influence the CPU scheduling. Since we want Live Boost to handle that, it's generally recommended to turn off Game Mode. If you notice worse performance after testing, you can always turn it back on, but in most cases, we recommend leaving it disabled. Here, we have Core Director. All this does is just pick a CPU set based on the game that you're playing. Here, we have background control and service control. Now, service control pauses non-essential Windows services while a game runs and then restores them when you quit the game. Background isolation pins high CPU background processes to other threads of your processor that the game is not running on. There's a few options here that you can choose from. Most of the time I recommend standard, unless if you're a creator. These are just startup options. Here we can activate. Alright, now here we are at the Live Boost dashboard. So what exactly is Live Boost trying to accomplish? The biggest feature is Core Director, which lets you assign either a CPU set or an Affinity mask to any supported game. This gives you control over where your CPU threads run, helping reduce competition from background tasks, and depending on your CPU and the game, potentially improving FPS, frame time, and overall smoothness. This is especially useful for dual CCD X3D CPUs, such as the 9950 X3D, or Intel hybrid P-Core E-Core CPUs, like the 13900K or 14900K. Now, this is where you decide to keep your game running on your cache CCD or the P-Cores instead of letting Windows decide. And as I touched earlier, it also includes service control, which temporarily pauses selected background services while gaming, and background isolation, which again moves the higher CPU background processes away from the cores/threads that your game is using. Once you close your game, everything is automatically restored. So Live Boost isn't just another game booster. It's designed to give your game the cleanest access to your CPU while reducing interference from background activity. Now, I'll start by showing you how I use it for Black Desert, and then I'll walk you through setting up for other games too, so stick around. Okay, first things first, I'm going to show you how to disable your BAT file for Black Desert. If you don't have one, don't worry about this, you can skip ahead, and if you do have one, I'm going to show you how to turn it off. Now technically you don't need to do this because Live Boost will clear the Affinity once you launch the game, but it's always good practice to do so anyway. Now, how do you know if you have a BAT file? Well, you can go ahead and locate your Black Desert launcher here, right click Edit, and you'll see here, start Affinity with whatever numbers. Clearly I have a BAT file here. So how to disable it is you right click it, Properties, Advanced. Now yours will be checked as run as administrator. Go ahead and uncheck that. Okay, apply. Now this will work just like a regular launcher without setting the Affinity. So go ahead and go into game and we'll verify that this is turned off. Go ahead and open Task Manager, go to Details, find Black Desert, right click it, set Affinity. If you've done this correctly, it'll show just like this. All the threads will be checked. But if you haven't, it'll look something like this. Only a couple threads will be checked throughout the CPU. Just go ahead and double check that and make sure, like I said, that it's off. Now, if you're using our app in Live Boost, and I've heard some of these questions, and you're using the Affinity instead of a CPU set, some people will say, oh, it's not working because I go in here and check it and, you know, everything's checked. Windows won't show when we're using Live Boost and the Affinity's on, so these boxes won't show like you have a normal BAT file. So just keep that in mind when using the Affinity in Live Boost instead of the CPU set. It won't show in Task Manager, okay? now let's head into Live Boost. As you can see, Black Desert is being detected and is currently being boosted. If your game isn't being detected, no worries, I'll go over that later. But BDO is an exception, it should always show up. If it is not, please let us know via support ticket or Discord. Now, let's go over how you can change your CPU set or Affinity. To get started, simply go to the Advanced tab in the top right, then click Add Override. Choose the game. From here, you want to choose Icon Recommended Layout or Custom if you already know what you want your core layout to be. From here, you can choose the sets or masks you want to apply. The available CPU sets will depend on your processor. These are simply the options available for my CPU, which is a 7800X3D. If you're not getting the performance you want, you can always come back here at any time and change your CPU set or Affinity. These changes apply in real time, so no need to close and restart your game. Now, how do we make sure it's actually working? Well, we're going to create a test set for a couple of reasons, and I recommend not skipping this step because this test set will have multiple uses. One use is for testing, and the other is in case you want to run multiple games at once and make sure games are not using the same sets. We will update this in the future, so stay tuned. Now, I'm going to go ahead and create this. So, add override, Black Desert, custom, CPU set. If I can click on it. I'm just going to pin one thread here. I'm going to call it one thread test/background. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Confirm, yes, okay. Once it's created, it'll show up down here under Save Mask, so we can use it again whenever we need it. Now, we're going to apply this test set in Black Desert, where we'll jump in the game and see the crazy performance that one thread is going to give. Obviously, the game should run terribly because it's only getting one thread available to it. That's exactly what we want for this test. If the performance tanks, we know the CPU set is being applied correctly. Once we switch back to a proper set, the game should immediately return to normal. So let's go ahead and test it, shall we? Not sure how visible that is, but this is extremely laggy. And the FPS is definitely tanking a little bit here. Oh yeah, this is rough. Okay. Now, as you can see, that was performing pretty badly. Not sure how visible that was on the video side, but let me tell you, sitting right here viewing it, it's rough. Now, let's go ahead and apply a real set. There we go. Now there shouldn't be any stuttering or hitching or nothing crazy like that. All's as smooth as can be. And there you go. That's an easy way to test to see if your set is actually applying correctly. Okay, now let's set up Live Boost for another game. For this example, we're going to use Fortnite. As you can see, we don't currently have a CPU set for Fortnite, so let's go create one. Add override. Their processes. Whoa, Buster. You'll notice there are several Fortnite related processes. If you're not sure which one is the actual game process, don't worry. That's another reason why we created the test set. Let's intentionally select the wrong process first. Once we're in game, we'll apply the one thread test set. So go ahead. I just selected whichever one, go into the setup here, saved. We'll use our save test set here. Save override. Now here it is. Now I'll see you in game and we'll see the performance, see if it changed. Now it is a good idea to look at your performance before and after. This is about where my performance was before, and I applied the one thread test, as you can see here. And yeah, everything looks fine. Everything looks smooth. No problems here. I would say 400 to 500 FPS. It is definitely not that process. So we're going to go ahead and go back in and set it up. Now, that certainly wasn't the process. So let's go in and find the right process and apply the test set. So let's go look again. Fortnite. In case you're wondering, Fortnite is the Fortnite Win64 shipping client here. And we will do the test set here. Save override. Perfect. Now let's head into game. Oh, Yeah, okay, there we go. Now we're cooking. The game's performance drops immediately, so we found the correct process. Now, let's go ahead and set up a proper CPU set for Fortnite. By the time that this video goes live, there may already be an Icon recommended set available, but in case there isn't, we're going to go ahead and set one up. Now, we're going to set up our own CPU set. Here's a decent general rule of thumb for AMD single CCD processors and Intel hybrid CPUs. For most games, try assigning around 5 to 7 physical cores. Depending on the game and CPU, this may vary. So let's go ahead and set that up. Click on Fortnite, Custom Profile, CPU Set, and in here, wow, that had my layout. 6 cores here. Now this is an AMD Ryzen CPU. All Ryzen CPUs do have SMT. SMT meaning simultaneously multi-threading, meaning there is 2 threads to a core. So here's a thread, here's a thread, that's a core. Here's a thread, here's a thread, that's a core, so on and so forth. Now I'm gonna go ahead and name this one 6-core hole. Boop. There we go. Now, as you see, I left some threads unchecked. This leaves some CPU resources available for Windows and background processes. I generally leave threads 0 and 1 unassigned, since Windows often uses the first core for system and background activity. Now, if you have a dual CCD X3D processor like the 7950X3D or the 9950X3D, make sure the game is assigned to the cache CCD. In Live Boost, this is typically indicated by yellow dots in this here thread table. If you have a hybrid Intel processor, your thread table will look more like this. Let me show you. So right here it is. Your P cores will be a lighter blue, and your E cores will be a more darker blue. Now, E cores only have 1 thread to them, so that's why you see E cores 4, bang, 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 bang. This is a 6-core processor, so it has 6 cores, but it has 12 threads. Again, this is Intel, so it has hyper-threading. Now, hyper-threading is the same thing as SMT. That means there's 2 threads per core. So again, 0 and 1, that's 1 core. 2 and 3, that's another core. So on and so forth. For gaming on Intel, you generally want to be on the P cores. And for AMD, if you have an X3D processor, you generally want to stay on the cache CCD. Now, hopefully all this thread tables and threads and cores and stuff makes sense to you guys. But if it doesn't, you can always ask us in our Discord or through a support ticket. Say, while we're at it, why don't we try a Affinity mask? Since both are available to us here. Generally, I do recommend CPU set over Affinity mask, but we're gonna try Affinity mask this time. Yeah, why not try 6-core hole? Save override. There it is. Now let's go back into Fortnite. Nope. Yeah, this is okay, but it wasn't the 560s and 550s that we were in before. Oh, we're even dropping down to some of the 400s and stuff. Yeah, so a CPU set is definitely better, but again, you can always try both on any game you want, and that's the great part about it, is you can switch them up. You can switch to Affinity mask, or you can switch to a CPU set, change your sets, change your masks, all in real time without closing the game. That's the great thing about this. Now, keep in mind, not all games support Affinity, vice versa, not all games support CPU sets. So we do give you the option for both, so keep that in mind going forward. Thank you all so much for watching and for continuing to support us here at IQON. We love hearing from you guys and what you think about us. You're the reason we keep pushing forward, improving, and creating more for the app. We truly appreciate every single one of you, and I hope to see you in the next video.